What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I want to talk about traveling. Whether you're traveling for work or going on vacation, what do you do when you travel and you don't have access to a gym? Well, I'm currently actually in the middle of a safari in South Africa and I have no access to a gym. So I thought it'd be quite fitting to share my philosophy when it comes to training and traveling. I'll be taking you through an effective 30-minute full body workout routine that you can do wherever you may be in the world with only your body weight and a simple resistance band. And at the end of the video, I'll be revealing to you how you can make your workouts even more efficient using one simple method. And this can be pretty handy when traveling, so make sure to stick around for that. Before we get into the video, I just want to preface this by saying that I'll be sharing alternative exercises for each level you're at. Consistency is key to getting into the best shape of your life. And if you don't want traveling to stop you from achieving that, then you might want to continue watching. Let's dive right in. So the way I structure my full body workout routine is by doing one exercise per body part. And I sort of structure it in a way of moving from my compound, so a multi-joint movement, to an isolation movement. This is so that you allow your body to have enough time to recover for the next exercise. Starting off with legs. You actually want to start off with legs just because it is the hardest thing to do, and sometimes you will just want to have the hardest thing right at the start. So the variations here would either to do a assisted pistol squat, right? Make sure you're holding on to something and for balance so you can do it properly. Then we have the pistol squat negative, which is a slightly easier variation. Then you can also do a squat or a bodyweight squat using something you have in the hotel room, some extra weight you have, just to make it a little bit harder. And then you can also either do a courtesy lunge, right? Or you can do a Bulgarian split squat. For the Bulgarian split squat, again, if it's too easy for you, you can just find some heavy thing you find in the hotel room to add some extra resistance. What I also like including is something for the posterior chain. So something for the hamstrings and the glutes and some of the lower back is a Romanian deadlift. And of course we don't have a barbell or dumbbells, so what I like doing is a single leg Romanian deadlift. To make it a little bit more challenging, you can always control the eccentric, so the negative of the portion or the negative portion of the exercise a lot more. And you can also again use some resistance by finding something heavy in the hotel room you are in to make it a little bit more challenging. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, right, we want to move from compound exercise, right, big body part movement, to isolation exercise, small body part movement. So what we're going to include now is calf raises. And for the calf raises, you want to find some sort of an elevated platform. You can even use books, something like that, where you really get a nice stretch into that calf. And you want to do this either single leg, depending on how much weight you have on your body, or with both legs, right? And if you want to make it even more challenging, again, you can hold something in your hand that is a little bit heavier, and just to make it a little bit more challenging. What you really want to focus on here is you want to go all the way down, stretching that calf fully, pausing at the bottom, and then going all the way up, squeezing the calf at the top. Really focus on engaging that calf, and the pause at the bottom is really important, because you don't want to basically, there's something called the Achilles tendon reflex, and if you're bouncing, you're using more momentum than actually using the muscle, and that's why you actually want to pause at the bottom for a second or so. The next body part we want to target is the chest, and here of course the most famous chest movement is the push-up. Now there's different push-up variations you can do. You can either do a decline push-up, which targets more of the upper chest. You can do an incline push-up where you sort of upright, but you're doing it against a table, a couch, something like that, which is a lot easier. And you can also do a normal push-up. And if you can't do a normal push-up, you can also do knee push-ups. You can see how many variations you can bring into it based on your level. And again, if you want to make it more challenging, you can always control the way down, hold it at the bottom, and then push yourself back up. Moving on to the bicep. This is where the resistance band is going to come into play. So you take the resistance band and you do curls, and you can sort of manipulate the difficulty of the bicep curl by where you hold on to the resistance band. So the lower you hold on to it when it's attached around your feet, the harder it's going to be, the higher, the easier it's going to be. So depending on your level, again, adjust it accordingly to still getting a really effective workout, because what you need to remember is you need to be challenging your muscles, right? If you're not challenging your muscles, they will not grow. So that is very important to remember. So make it challenging even when on vacation. Next up, we have the shoulders. And here we can either do an isolation exercise or we can do more of a compound exercise. As a compound exercise, I like including pike push-ups. Pike push-ups are a great movement to target the shoulders. However, they are very front delt dominant. So this part right here. You can alternatively, if you're very advanced, also do handstand push-ups against the wall. Or if you're not that advanced and you can't even do a pike push-up, I would mainly include isolation exercises. So you can do something like a upright row, or you can do lateral raises using either an object you have in the hotel room or the resistance band itself. If you want to target more of the front delts, what you can do is front raises, again using an object you have in the hotel room, or you can again use the resistance band. And the same thing for rear delts, right? Find an object, do it with that, or you can use the resistance band. Next up, we have the back. And if you have a pull-up bar with you, that's amazing, but most people don't have a pull-up bar with them. And I sometimes find it really difficult to find a bar in hotel rooms. Like, I mean, you don't wanna pull down just looking at the curtain rail right now. That would not be a good idea, so don't do that. You don't wanna get in trouble for that. So what I would recommend that you do is an under table row. So you go underneath the table and you pretty much perform a row like that. And again, you can manipulate the difficulty of the exercise by how or where you place your feet, right? More of a straight angle would be more difficult, and the closer you bring your feet into an upright position, the easier it will be. Another great alternative for this is again including the resistance band. And here you can do a bent over row with the resistance band. You can attach the resistance band to the door and do a face pull, which is great for the upper back and the rear delts. And you could even do a straight arm lat pull down using the resistance band. So really get creative with where you attach the resistance band to. Make sure it's a stable place. Don't tear anything down, but just really get creative with that. For the tricep, what I like including is tricep extensions. And here again, you can use the resistance band, throw it over something, attach it to something stable, and then do tricep extensions. And here again, you can manipulate the difficulty of the exercise by where you hold on to the resistance band. So the higher you go, the harder it will be, and the lower you go, the easier it will be. An alternative to that, again, you can do a bodyweight exercise which is called the tricep push. And here you can use a couch, you can use a table, and this is another great way to target the tricep, and also from a little bit of a different angle. So what you could do is one set of those and one set of the tricep resistance band extensions. And finally, we cannot forget the core. And what I like doing here is sort of a superset. And a superset is where you combine different exercises right after each other. And the reason for that is because with the core, you generally don't have to rest that long between the different exercises, and you can actually combine exercises with not resting too long. So what I like doing here is targeting the full core, right? Because the core is broken up into different muscles. So we have, even the glutes are known as part of the core, the lower back. However, I just want to target the front part, or mention the front part to you with the following exercises. So what I like doing is sort of targeting the obliques, which are sort of on the side, and then also the transverse abdominis, which is not very visible. It sits underneath the visible abs, which is still very important, and then also targeting the visible abs themselves. So I like doing 3 exercises. So for example, you can do Russian twists for the obliques, then you can do leg raises for the core, right, or the visible abs, and then you can still include something at the end like a plank just to finish off the set. and that targets more of the transverse, which sits underneath the visible abs, but is still very, very crucial to having a strong and well-rounded core. Alternatively, for example, the Russian twists, you could, for example, do side planks, or for the leg raises, you can do crunches, and for the plank, then you could also probably just do a hollow body hold, which is another great alternative for that. And this really depends on your level. With the hollow body hold, you can sort of manipulate the difficulty by bending your knees rather and straightening them, making it more difficult, bending them, making it a little bit easier. With the plank, you can make it even more difficult by stretching your arms or increasing the angle of your legs, and not the angle, with the plank, you can make the exercise more difficult by extending your arms, and that can be quite challenging. For example, I like including that compared to, because I don't like going more than a minute, because at that point it becomes too much of a mental thing and it's very, very endurance based. Whereas if I make the exercise more difficult, I can shorten the duration of the pain, but still make it very, very effective. So a couple of key takeaways. When I travel, I like making the workouts a lot shorter, which will make it more likely that I actually do them. I want to do them first thing in the morning, because we all know, like, whether you're traveling for vacation or work, during the day things always come up. So you want to make sure you're doing it first thing in the morning. Get creative with the equipment you have in the room. Just find things you think are heavy, you think might work, right? Just really, really get creative. And ultimately, the key when traveling is just to keep moving, right? You'll feel so much better, and more importantly, you'll keep your gains that you've worked so hard on. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned that I'll be revealing a simple method you can do to make your workouts even more efficient. And this method is called Supersets. I already mentioned it with the core, but now you can sort of do that with the other exercises as well. So the way Supersets work is you basically target 2 muscle groups. And the way you structure it is by targeting opposing muscle groups. For example, you can do the under table row, combine that with a push-up. Now, while the one muscle group is working, the other one is resting. You still want to make sure you're resting like a minute between the exercises so that your cardiovascular system actually recovers as well. But you can basically combine the 2 exercises and save yourself so much time. Now again, you really want to think opposing muscle groups, because you don't want to sort of over fatigue the muscle group you're targeting. So you don't want to do a push-up and then a tricep extension where you're targeting the same muscle groups. So think opposing muscle groups. When it comes to rest itself, you want to think compound exercises 3 minutes and isolation exercises 2 minutes. Now when you're doing a superset, for example, you do the superset, you time, okay, it's 3 minutes to go. Then you wait a minute, you do the other exercise. By the time you've rested 3 minutes from when you did the first exercise, that's when you go again. And that's how you save time, because you're doing the other exercise in between your rest. I hope this was helpful and has given you more clarity and insight into how to travel and still get in a good workout routine. If you like this video, make sure to let me know, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my other content moving forward. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.